Hello, everyone, and welcome back. As always, I'm your girl, Candy Washington. And before we dive into today's Kiki, which is the girls are fighting, and by the girls, I mean Andy Cohen and Jen Shah. So before we dive into their cat fight, be sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss it when we go live. Also, be sure to share this with a friend because a kiki is always better with community. Check out our description box down below and shop our love collection. So with that, you guys, let's dive right on in. So this is according to Reality Blurb, and it says Andy Cohen on why he doesn't think Jen Shah will be back for the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City season 4. Now, don't forget, Andy was very salty when Jen Shah pled guilty because he had been windmilling, oh, innocent until proven guilty, she's innocent, blah, blah, blah. And then she was like, psych, guilty. And he was kind of left with egg on his face. And honestly, we know Andy Cohen loves a good criminal. He's always up Erica Jane Girardi's butt. She talks to him all types of sideways, and he takes it. You know, Teresa Giudice is one of his faves, one of his favorites. So we all know Andy loves a good felon. And he was all about Jen Shah until she pled guilty. But let's dive into the business. Oh, and also don't forget, Andy also was salty when Jen Shah crashed BravoCon. You know, she wasn't invited, she wasn't supposed to be there, and she crashed it. And, you know, shady Tamara Judge got on her Instagram story and was like, yo, Jen crashed BravoCon. She's saying like, oh, I'm okay. Everything's good. I'm not even going to jail. It's kind of cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Obviously, Jen came out and said, oh, I never said that because her lawyer probably was really pissed. But Andy also was kind of shading her about that whole situation. But let's dive in. It says Andy Cohen doesn't anticipate Jen Shah being part of the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City season 4 cast. Before offering an update on the upcoming Legacy spinoff of the Real Housewives of New York City, Andy, a longtime executive producer of the Real Housewives franchise and host of Watch What Happens Live, said that when it comes to Jen, he doesn't think she'll be available. Oh, not available. The shade of it all. The shade of it all. Why? Because she's going to be in federal prison? When it comes time for filming on the new season due to her upcoming sentencing hearing. She's being sentenced on December 15th, so I don't know what to say to people who want her on the show. Andy told Us Weekly on November 17th. I hope that she gets no jail time whatsoever and she can come right back. But I have a feeling she's not going to be able to be on the show. The shade of it all. After being arrested for fraud and money laundering in March of 2021 and pleading guilty to conspiracy to commit wire fraud in July, telling a judge at the time, I knew this was wrong. Jen is facing up to 30 years behind bars. That's a long time, Andy noted. Some people on Twitter were saying, we want Jen next season. I'm like, okay, well, talk to the judge. Dun, 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 dun. Andy also addressed Jen's future on the show during an Ask Andy panel at BravoCon in October. Once we wrapped, she pled guilty. I think that was kind of, unfortunately, the end of, you know, the engagement there. Basically, like, once she pled guilty, she was fired. Because don't forget, he loves a good felon, but they always try to use plausible deniability. Teresa's always like, I didn't know. I just signed whatever Joe said. You know, Erica Jane, I had no idea what was going on. I thought Tom was this brilliant man. And I'm calling BS on both of that. Like, both of these people knew their husbands. Maybe they did not understand the scheme, but I think that they knew that there was a scheme. You see what I'm saying? Okay, now let's keep going. Dun, 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 dun. So, da, 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 da. Okay, once she wrapped, she pled guilty. I think that was kind of ultimately the end of, you know, the engagement there. Basically, like, now she's fired, he said. But I hope to sit down with her and talk to her at some point on camera because I have a lot of questions for her. Well, Andy, if you're going to waste our time and interview people the way you've been wasting our time at the reunion, the way you wasted our time at BravoCon, the way you waste our time at Watch What Happens Live, get it together. Ask the real questions, ask the hard questions, ask the questions that we actually want to know, and push back. Don't take a BS answer. Don't softball it. don't phone it in. Like, be present, know the facts, know the questions, and do your job if you're going to do it, or else just let Jen, skippity doo dah to the clink clink, just stop. All right, let's continue. Although Andy couldn't say if Jen's Real Housewife of Salt Lake City co-stars would get a chance to sit down with her and discuss her previous claims of innocence. Who cares? Who freaking cares? Like, this is the thing. Meredith Marks, Heather Gay, Whitney Rose, and I love Lisa, but Lisa Barlow, none of them, I'm sorry, are in any position to be like, we need to hold Jen accountable when they're all shady and weird. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's something we don't need. That's just something we don't need. Anyway, he said tweaks are always good when discussing the potential cast shakeups coming to the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Dun 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 dun. I don't know why they're talking about Beverly Hills when they're talking about potential cast shakeups. We're talking about the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, but I think everyone is always talking about the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. But the beef does not stop there. Oh no, it doesn't. So of course, Jen Shah had to clap back, and the way that Jen Shah loves to clap back, as we all know, is on social media. So she took to Twitter and she took to Instagram to basically cuss out Andy Cohen and her co-stars. So this is from Reality Blurb, and it says, Jen Shah suggests Real Housewife of Salt Lake City won't, quote, work without her. Shades co-stars as extras and shares post deeming series The Jen Shah Show. So let's get into the mess because I'm here for it. Jen Shah still isn't happy about being cut from the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City after show. Amid Wednesday's night's new episode of the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, the show's legally troubled cast member who pled guilty to charges of telemarketing fraud over the summer took to her Instagram story to share her thoughts about the series and her impact on it. So don't worry if you can't read the Instagram stories and tweets on the screen. I'm going to read everything, so I got your back. I got you covered, okay? You're welcome, extras, read a message Jen shared on November 16th, along with a screenshot of Twitter's trending topics, which featured her name at the top of the list. Dun, 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 dun. It goes on to say, another message shared by Jen suggested that the Real Housewife of Salt Lake City couldn't see continued success if she were no longer a part of it. No way can the Real Housewife of Salt Lake City work without the queen, Jen Shah, the post, which also tagged Andy Cohen and Bravo Red. I mean, now she's trolling Andy because he was like, I don't know you, boo-boo. Jen then took aim at Whitney Rose, which I'm okay with. I don't like Whitney Rose. Peace out, chick. Who defended Lisa Barlow's to Jen's ride or die Heather Gay on the latest episode by suggesting her castmates was still reeling over the moment in which Mary Cosby shaded her as, quote, a little girl, aim at Real Housewives of Salt Lake City Season 2. Whitney didn't recover from that little girl comment. Whitney didn't recover from that little girl read from Mary, stated a message shared to her account. Facts the post added. Also on her Instagram story, Jen reshared a post from a fan who crossed out the opening titles of the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City and replaced it with a message that deemed the Bravo reality series The Jen Shah Show. This is giving Erica Jane vibes, like everyone's using my fraud. Everyone's using Tom Girardi's fraud case and our fraud case for storylines. Everyone is using us for a storyline and for legal reasons. Anyway, as the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City's fans may have seen, Jen made it clear she wasn't happy about being left out of the after show earlier this week by sharing a series of messages. Dun 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 dun. And whoa. So in one, a message said Jen Shah was the breakout star from the chart and asked, what the F is Bravo doing? What are you doing, Bravo? Wondered another. If you were smart, you'd continue your engagement. Just watch your ratings continue to drop. So that is a direct shade at Andy Cohen because we just read that he said, that our engagement came to an end when she pled guilty. So that is a direct shot at Andy. Wow. So she's going for Andy. She's going for Bravo. She is leaving no stone unturned. But I want to know what you guys think. Do you think that The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City is the Jen Shah show? Can it survive without her? This is my thing. I think that the series, season 1, I thought was really great. Season 2 was really great. But I'm going to be honest, season 3, even with Jen Shah, it's really sleepy and it's really slow and it's kind of boring. So I don't necessarily think that it can't survive without Jen Shah. I think in general, it needs more women and it needs better storylines and personalities, because right now we're just seeing rinse, wash, and repeat. It's very boring. It's very stale. It's not that interesting, even with Jen Shah and her legal battles. So I think it needs a new refresh and a new freshness, regardless if Jen is there or not. But I want to know what you guys think. Put it down below. And what do you think about this beef, between Andy Cohen and Jen Shah? Whose side are you on? Are you on Andy's side? Are you on Jen's side? Or do you just not care? So I want to know. Put it down below. And also, before you do that, you know what to do. Go ahead and like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss it when we go live. Also, be sure to share this with a friend, because a kiki is always better with community. Check out our description box down below and shop our love collection. So with that, my beautiful candy canes, I will see you next time. Bye.
Welcome to Sugar Pills, a practical guide to self-care, where your host, writer, actor, and producer Candy Washington helps you live a more joyful life with a cheeky dash of pop culture news. Be sure to subscribe, leave a 5-star review, and join the conversation on Instagram @Candy Washington. Let's go!